What's up, YouTube? Game Math Teacher here, and today we're going to look at the 2006 season for the Curse the Billy Goat Challenge with the Chicago Cubs. A challenge where I tried to win a World Series faster than the actual Cubs could do it in 2016. As we look into again to start the 2006 season, a couple things are going to change. I'm going to start editing these a little more. That way we can get through a full season per video. That way they'll have an off-season video and a full season video, kind of make this series go a little quicker. Getting to episode, I believe, 9 now. Or episode 8 lets us speed things up a little bit more. Quick couple recap things before we get started. Again, made the move trading for Clint Barnes to play second base. Had a really good year last year, 113 OPS plus in Colorado. Super young, or younger kid. Great defensive second baseman. Has some good speed. Should be a average player for us in limited at-bats last year. Also drafting Koji Johima. To be our catcher, again, good arm, good framing, not the greatest blocker. Looks to be good. Again, we don't have very much guarding accuracy, but looks like he's not going to strike out. Should be a solid catching option in real life. Again, a couple seasons here as he came in. 291 average, 451 slug, 783 OPS. So again, a solid first couple years before kind of falling off after the age of 30. For what we need him for, he should be a solid transition catcher for us. As we have, if we look here at his lineups, we have Giovanni Soto in the wings alongside of Ryan Garco, who has started to get worse as the years went on, batting-wise, but again, still a good defensive catcher, a good bench guy. Also have the older Jose Molina, who is a great defensive catcher, should be a serviceable bench option. So we'll see who, I think Soto ends up staying maybe at majors, might go down to AAA, we'll see. Tony Womack is a good utility infielder, has some good contact skills. Signed him as a minor league free agent, so if he doesn't stick around, he doesn't stick around. Coming off a very good year in Boston, 150 at-bats, 126 OPS plus. For one more season, doesn't really have a good defensive skill. A little bit better in the outfield, but not great. Not as defensively sound we'd love, but again, has a good bat. Rick Ankiel probably ends up in AAA this year, still is struggling to hit the ball, but a good defensive outfielder. Like to see that develop a little more. Probably ends up being a AAA player this year. Other than that, a good fledge of outfielders. And our big signing this past offseason was Jimmy Rollins. Again, letting Michael Young go, letting other shortstops go, opened up a hole for Jimmy to slide in. Again, in my opinion, a much bigger improvement. Great speed, great defense, can drive gas, which plays really well in Wrigley. Got him actually a really good contract for what he is. Again, through his prime years, only paying about $10 million is going to be great. Pitching-wise, we do have some questions still. Pryor is still our ace. Has great stuff, has great pitches. Like to see this stuff continue to develop. We'll see if it does. Coming off a very down year, still a 5 ERA or 5 WAR, but 92 ERA plus, not what you'd like to see. Was very unlucky when it comes to BABIP the last couple of years in the sim, but was his worst year of this series. Still led the league in strikeouts, so again, positives here. Still on a very good contract, 25 years old. Going to be arbitration eligible this offseason, but still making under $4 million. Zambrano's kind of been our star of the series since he took over. Elite, ERA plus, just limits runs, gets outs, sits around a 5 WAR every year. In my opinion, a great middle rotation guy. Carroll's been one of the more disappointing players of the series, but has been pretty consistent, slightly above average in terms of ERA plus. WAR is down, but that's just because WAR values some weird things. Under a 4 ERA for a number 3 is good, kind of plateauing, but he has some good stuff still. Like to see him have another bounce back year, get back to this kind of starting the year 134 ERA plus. And then we have one new starting arm is Denny Reyes. In limited innings last year between Detroit and Oakland. Had a really good year. 122 ERA plus in Detroit with a 2 WAR, 188 ERA plus in Oakland with no WAR, but that's just because he was only 21 games as a reliever, 15 innings. Going to be a starter here. Doesn't have the stamina, but should be on a pitch count, on a cheap contract. Gives us a lefty that's going to be pretty consistent, looks like, at least through the sim so far, outside of a very bad start to the sim. Then Cliff Lee, who just hasn't figured it out yet. In real life, by 2006, still actually in real life struggling as well. Wasn't until about 2008 that things started to click for him, and then he was dominant for the rest of his career. So we'll see if we can kind of keep him developing. Really, in real life, develops at 30 years old. 27 now, see if we can get him going a little earlier. Bullpen-wise, got a bunch of arms. We'll see if which ones stay, which one go. Again, looking at the spring training roster. Aaron Foltz, lefty we brought in. Had a good year with Colorado last year, pitching in 58 games. Probably ends up being a bullpen lefty, we'll see. Will Oman has been great in AAA, has been terrible in the majors, so he's quadruple A player right now. Don't know where he's going to sit. Again, another lefty. Sean Marshall just has been my disappointment of the year. Has the great potential still. Has the great curveball. Dominates AAA. Gets crushed in the majors. So I think he's going to see the full season in the majors, see what happens. We'll see. Rincon we finally brought back after a year away. Went to Cleveland. The White Sox last year was very good still. Was good for us. Just going to be somebody who's going to stick around. Going to be a good bullpen arm. Ubaldo Jimenez, somebody who made another trade with Colorado, number 16 prospect. Ends up probably going to be our number 3, number 4 starter. Has the elite tools. Has the stuff. Struggling with control downs, why I like him in the bullpen. Was really good in AAA last year. Marmol's going to get his major league chance. He had 7 games last year. It was dominant. Everything was good minus the control, which is very fitting for real life, Carlos Marmol. But has that elite strikeout slider and some good fastball curveball. We'll see how it ends up. Somebody I like having in the majors, though. Anderson Tavares, super flyer, has nothing really going on stuff and all that wise. Gonna be a spring training arm, then slide down if we see. Has some stamina, is about the only thing good for him. Doesn't hit, doesn't field. Not sure why he's actually on the major league roster. We're just gonna send him AAA right now. Grant Balfour has the stuff, has the pitches. Did not pitch well for us. But, again, when you have that ratings, you'd like to see something happen, and he's super cheap. Was good with Minnesota. So we'll see if he can figure some stuff out for us. Now to our kind of locked-in bullpen guys, Brent Sikorsky has just been dominant ever since we got him. 130 ERA plus. He had almost a 2,000 ERA plus, which is hilarious. With the Mets for trade him in 33 games, was just dominant in New York. Has great control, has great stuff. Not going to be necessarily a strikeout out of movement, but will blow guys away with that splitter. Jason Frazier, another trade we brought in last summer. Was great in Toronto, has been good in Chicago for his 22 games we had him for. Just does everything good. Little short guy, but is a good bullpen guy. Justin Spire, free agent signing, and gave him a flyer contract. Was good with the Dodgers in 20 games last year. See if he can kind of translate that a little more. If not, easy rotate down to AAA. John Rauch, such an interesting player. 6'11", 290, huge human being. Traded for him to get some contract off. We can see if I look here. Where's that trade at? I don't see it right at the top of my face here. Oh. No, we traded for him to get some. Here it is. Got Jose Molina and John Rauch. Got rid of Barry Zito, who's just terrible this year. Ends up actually ended the year pretty good, but almost $12 million salary. We're saving some of it, but got him off. Got us a backup catcher. Good relieving arm. We'll see what happens out of that. And then brought back Troy Percival. Was good for us last year. Continues to be our closer. Oh yeah, 13 saves. Just kind of been our most reliable back to the bullpen guy. Just good and a good locker room guy. So with that, we're going to jump ahead to spring training. And as we start spring training here, we have some arms here. We'll see what happens. My entire intention here with spring training is kind of let it guys go. We can see a bunch of guys signing here. Nothing really moves the needle for us. We'll jump ahead to opening day. move guys around once it gets to that point. But again, with that, we'll see you when opening day gets here and kind of go through some of the moves we make. All right, here we are at opening day, and just looking at who we have going today, giving a Mark Prior opening us up, and starting lineup, same as we looked at before the spring training started. Bullpen, thin some things out. Again, we'll have Dusty Baker fix this. So we have Fultz and Marshall as our lefty specialists. Rincon and Balfour both working some long relief duties. Frazier, Spire, Rauch is our middle relief guy, and Percival is our setup closer. Lineup-wise, a couple tough decisions, having to move guys around. But Derek Lee at first, Beltrán in center, Huff in right, Sosa in left. Oramas at third, Jimmy Rollins at short. Kenji Johima behind the plate. And Clint Barnes is our second baseman. Johima's starting to regress here overall-wise, but we now kind of know what he is. Actually, is a better defensive catch than we predicted. Still is great to avoid strikeouts. And then if we look at some spring training numbers, guys that really struggle, Derek Lee, again, continues to struggle in spring training. Beltrán struggling with spring training. Tony Womack did. Our best hitters in spring training, Matt Diaz, in 30 games of spring training, just crushed the ball. A 1.1 for OPS. You can see home run-wise, Aramis, I think, almost led the National League in spring training home runs. Is starting to figure things out. Was great last year. Continues to get better. But as we face opening day here, we play against Cincinnati against the Reds, who again are a improved team. We can kind of see your Cincinnati Reds sitting right along with us in the preseason rankings. Aaron Harang, Sidney Poisson, Al Leiter, 40-year-old Al Leiter, Jared Wright, John Halma, Antonio Alfonseca's in the bullpen, Ryan Wagner's there still. So again, not a great pitching staff, but a good batting lineup. Edgar Entry is a great defensive shortstop. Felipe Lopez, Austin Kearns, Adam Dunn still there. Sean Casey, Brad Ausmus got behind the plate. They signed for him on a minor league contract. And Bill Mueller playing third, another signing this offseason, getting paid some money. But again, it should be a couple series we win here to start against the Reds. First game, 12-5 win. Opening day-wise, we can see home runs from Derek Lee leading off. 1 for 5 with a home run and a walk, 2 strikeouts. Aubrey Huff hit a home run. Sammy Sosa hit a home run. Kenji Johima hit a home run, starting 3 for 5. It's always good to see from your rookie catcher. Clint Barnes struggled. 4 strikeouts. Probably doesn't end up being everyday second baseman, but his defense is there. We'll see if the bat figures itself out. Otherwise, we had some good pinch hitting. Prior gave us 5 strong, 7 hits, 4 runs. On that, Rauch had a nice shutdown inning. Sean Marshall went 2 innings, gave up a run. And Frazier closed things out. And with that, I'm going to kind of jump ahead here. And I'll see you in about a month's time, start of May, to kind of check how we're doing. And as we're looking here, May 1st, Cubs kind of had a struggle to start the year. We ended up 14-9 of the month and actually at the top of the NL Central, 4th overall behind the Blue Jays, Padres, A's. April's outstanding AL rookies, Tim Lincecum, not a surprise. Big thing that happened this month, Aubrey Huff. Team trainer, not that Randy Johnson. Aubrey Huff diagnosed with a strained hip, out for 6 weeks. He got hurt about halfway through the month. He got about 4 weeks left. So we'll see kind of how that happens. Started the year actually really good, 113 OPS plus in the first 7 games. But again, just a shame to see him get hurt. Looking at this 1 month check-in here, how everybody's looking. Pitching-wise, Prior, again, just another year. 373 BAB, just super unlucky. Doesn't have the greatest outfield. Sosa still playing left without the DH, but again, something you'd like to see him figure out. Still just striking a bunch of guys out. Hopefully that number goes down to a more manageable instead of a 373, almost 400 on BABIP. We'll see though. Zambrano's been his consistent self. Another 370 ERA, 126 ERA plus. Just does what he does. Kerry Wood's having a good year. Denny Reyes, Again, just has been so good for us. Again, 2.08 ERA in his 4 games he started. A lot of walks, decent amount of strikeouts. Been very good getting the ball outs, getting ground balls. Doesn't have the elite pitches, but it's been serviceable with them. Cliffley, another bad start to the year. 344 BABIP is one of the reasons why. Bullpen-wise, Percival's been elite for us, 1.80 ERA. Not getting the saves because he's our setup guy, technically. Rouch is struggling at 4.7. 4.1 for Justin Spire. Frazier's been really good for us. Rincon has been terrible at 11.5. Rincon probably ends up getting shut down here. Fultz is struggling as lefty specialist. So 2 lefties are struggling. Probably going to have some minor league guys to bring up in a little bit. Batting-wise, let's go here against. We'll go overview here. Batting-wise, Beltrán, been our best hitter, which is no surprise, 181 OPS plus, almost a 2 WAR already through a month. 6 home runs leading our team. Ramos with 6, Sammy with 5, Kenji with 4. Only really bad bats right now are Garco, who's not here to be a bat, but he probably gets sent down AAA when we flip some catchers around. Clint Barnes and Tony Wallach, both my second baseman options, have been very bad. Corey Sullivan's only here because Aubrey Huff got hurt. Derek Lee's been disappointing so far, but he has 17 runs scored. He's leading up there in our team with walks, but he's striking out quite a bit. It's his problem right now. So we'll see if he kind of gets some stuff here. He does have 5 stolen bases. Kind of missed typecast as a leadoff guy right now. Somebody's been surprisingly good against Sammy Sosa. 124 OPS plus. Had a 167 last year, almost 6 WAR in left field. Doesn't have the speed to cover. It's kind of hurting Pryor, I'm guessing, being a bat in left field. This most likely is going to be his last year playing, probably, I'd imagine. But if you look at his batting stats career, one thing I'd like to note, 627 is where he's at home run-wise. Almost 600 just with the Cubs themselves. Sosa, I think, ends up being a Hall of Famer in the safe, but not a lot of change I want to do right now other than if we just look at our AAA program right now, how they're looking. Sikorsky has just been great. So is Will Oman, and Ubaldo's been dominant, 2.05 ERA. So those 3 are probably going to get called up here probably by next month. We'll see, make sure it keeps continuing going. Sikorsky only has 7 innings so far. It's very early in their season. Lineup-wise, who's hitting well? Adam Greenberg is mashing the ball. Probably ends up being a flip here because he's playing so well right now. We'll just throw him on the trade block right now. Giovanni Soto probably ends up being the catcher that gets brought up for Garco. 129 OPS plus, hitting the ball well, starting to figure that stuff out. Other than that, a couple disappointing one, and Keel is still struggling AAA to hit the ball. So yeah, some changes will be made. But as of now, looking at just where the Cubs are sitting, right now top of the Central by half a game over the Pirates. And going into Beltrán leading our team in average, home runs, RBIs is Sosa, Derek Lee leads home base, which is just wrong right now. But, I mean, he's not a bad running first baseman. On base percentages, Beltrán, I'd honestly probably would prefer Beltrán to be a leadoff guy. Or Jimmy Rollins would be a good leadoff guy. I don't know why Dusty Baker refused to do that. But with that, we will jump ahead another month and we'll join back in at the start of June. And we're back here at June 1st. Again, it's been a 2-team race. We're kind of seeing some teams jump around. Let's look at the power rankings here to start the month. We can see we're sitting at 3rd. Cardinals at 9th right now, but it's really been just back and forth between us and St. Louis. Clear those for you guys. To start off with looking at our team, again, we're half game up with the Cardinals. Right now, the 2 highest WAR in baseball is Pujols and Edmonds. Pujols having just an unbelievable year, but is out hurt. Kind of been one of the reasons we've been able to storm back ahead. But if you look at Pujols, 207 OPS plus. Just been insane this year so far. But it's starting to have some injury issues. You can see he had some time in AAA from a rehab stint. 1.16, so he's just been unbelievable. And then Jim Edmonds also hitting the ball insanely well, 1.07, and playing Gold Glove defense. So Cardinals leading the way by their 2 stars. bullpen's doing not very well for them. But looking at us, batting average of Ramos has started to lead the team, 132 OPS plus, hitting almost 340, 332. He's been a great anchor at our third base. Somebody I was really nervous about early on in the series. Last 2 years have figured it out, and I'm glad about that. Matt Diaz has kind of stolen that role in left or right field right now, as Aubrey Huff's been hurt. 113 OPS plus, playing great defense, hitting 312. Home runs, Sosa's leading the team of 15. Just crushing the ball, still 151 OPS plus. Almost a 2 WAR already. Playing good left field. Beltrán's past Derek clean stolen bases. Beltrán is leading our team in WAR at 2.5. Pitching wise, little disappointment. Pryor starting to get better, 4.92, getting closer to that league average. BABIP's starting to come down a little bit. Is 6-2. Is going to probably lead the league in strikeouts at this pace again. Zambrano is having a bad year so far, 103 ERA plus, though. It's not terrible. He's having some BABIP luck right now. I expect that to go back down. He gets more BABIPs. Denny Reyes has moved to the number 3 spot. Has been just lights out for us. 235 ERA plus. Just that ground ball pitcher with our good defensive infield. Has just worked like a charm. 198 ERA in the season, 5-0. Walking some guys, striking out some guys. Not on pace for a big strikeout year, but it's just been consistent for us. Kerry Wood had good BABIP. Just a league average pitcher right now. Walks have been a problem. Not getting as many strikeouts you'd like to have him have. Might transition to a bullpen role next year depending on what the free agent market looks like. Cliff Lee starting to figure out a little better. Just league average pitcher right now. Still not great with the BABIP luck. We'll see if he can keep working to figure stuff out. Bullpen guys getting better. Rincon much better, down to 7, but probably gets option to AAA at this point. Grant Bell, 4, 5, 6, 8, probably gets AAA optioned. Other than that, I think that's all we'll do there. So these 2 will go down. I'm going to do that right now. I'm looking at it. He'll get waived. And Rincon will go to AAA. Refuses, so waive and designate. I could try to flip these guys. In reality, no team would trade for him right now. Aubrey Huff just cannot get healthy right now. Had some setbacks. Kind of see. Let's see if I can get to his news. Didn't really say on there, but he is having some setbacks with a hip strain, so we'll see when he gets back. Some pitching wise, I want to bring up Sikorsky. Is still being dominant in AAA. He gets a spot back in the majors. And then it comes down to Ubaldo and Will Omen. Just looking at these 2, they're both pitching really well. Will Omen 3.72 as the closer, almost 9 strikeouts per 9. Ubaldo on a pitch count, 3.14. I think Ubaldo works his way back up to the majors here. And in that case, we'll just have the AI set up the minors right now. And then we just look at cut batters. Soto's really hitting well. And if we look at our lineup, our still a worst hitter. Ryan Garco, Tony Womack. Garco gets sent down, in my opinion. And Gio slides up. The only downside is I would love to have another infielder. Tony Womack has just not been good. 34 OPS plus. In a decent amount of at-bats so far this year. Coming off 126, so I think he gets sent down. It's just disappointing. Refuse to be demoted, which means you get waived. You're on a minor league contract, so I don't really even care. And we need a minor league bat now. So if we look at the AAA lineup again, Adam Greenberg still is our best hitter down here. Or that not seen a bunch of good. And Greenberg, if you look, is not a major league player. Has a good defense. Unknowingly, Cameron Maple wants somebody I'd like to call up, still struggling. So when that's the case, what I'm going to start looking at here, somebody I sent down that's got some value if we look at potential right now. Garco still has value. He's a catcher. I'm going to see if I can get a middle infielder for him. Dan Ugly move him up. Give him a chance. It's not touched. We're not losing money. We're not gaining money. We get a better player, in my opinion, somebody that fits our needs more. In that case, Dan Ugly slides to our main roster. Ubaldo's sitting in emergency relief. I'd like to keep him on limited pitches right now. Go a little lefty short in the bullpen, but we'll see how that matters, if it does at all. Lineup-wise, Clint Barnes still staying as second baseman. See if Dan Ugly can figure some stuff out as a bench bat. If he can, slide in the starting role at second, I wouldn't hate. Matt Diaz starting to get cold. He's in a slump, but still hitting 113 OPS plus. Corey Sullivan ends up being in the minors here as soon as Huff gets healthy. But we'll go from there. And with that, kind of check in here. I'm going to jump ahead to the start of July, and I'll join you back then. All right, a quick jump in here. June 11th, Rincon and Womack both cleared waivers, refused to be sent out of the minors. So I decided to flip them. I was going to have to pay their contract anyways, just outright releasing them. So I might as well cover that full contract and trade him for a guy that has something there, R.A. Dickey. Right now in AAA has been very good, 190 ERA plus, in 11 games started. Doesn't have the knuckleball yet. Probably actually might spend some time developing that here in the summer or in the spring. Actually was good in 4 games this year out of the bullpen. Probably doesn't come with the major leagues at this point. But I'm okay throwing a fly here at R.A. Dickey, getting these two people who don't want to be here off the books. And Dickey can sit in AAA, but I will give him a minor league roster, or a major league roster spot, and let them figure out the. A couple things to note: Aubrey Huff is rehab extending right now, struggling AAA rehab stint, but that's okay. I don't expect him to do well if rehab stinting. Denny's got hurt. Just a quick tendonitis. He'll be back for his even next start. But the next time we jump in will be July 1st, and Aubrey Huff will have some time in the majors again, and we'll see you then. All right, we're back July 1st here. Cubs continue just to play with first place between them and the Cardinals. With the Cardinals, we can see Jim Edmonds still having a good year. Michael Young, who unfortunately we let go of, was decent for us. Did sign on St. Louis and starting to figure things out in Busch Stadium. Roland's doing well, Jim Edmonds doing well. Pujols is actually starting to regress a little bit, just because he can't stay healthy right now. Pitching, pitchers starting to figure out. Doug Davis is pitching well. Jason Johnson in 2 starts has been insane. And 4 starts, 2 wins. Bullpen, they got Joe Nathan, which is still insane trade they made with Minnesota. It's a steal. But right now, fighting in first place, going back and forth, basically that entire month of June. Cubs-wise, Arama's still playing well. Jimmy's playing well. Beltrán. Sosa still hitting home runs. Denny Reyes just got pitcher of the month. Continues to have a great year in 16 starts. Still 9-0, 169 ERA plus. Keeping his bat up under 3 is awesome. Zambrano struggling. Pryor struggling. Wood struggling. Lee struggling. Bullpen doing better. Sikorsky, now that we brought him up, is actually struggling in the majors. See if he can get that stuff figured out. Ubaldo's been great as a long relief guy. In 8 games, 18 innings. 220 BAP, getting ground balls. Probably ends up being a starter next year. Batting-wise, we can see Derek Lee still struggling to get his average going. End up being an average hitter right now, OPS-wise, because he's hitting some home runs, hitting some doubles. Beltrán just insane. Arama's playing great. Sosa playing great. Aubrey Huff, since coming back, we can see here, since he made it back to the majors, is starting to figure some stuff out. Unfortunately, with that, Matt Diaz did get hurt, who was actually up to a great start to the year. Bat has started to cool down, but he was playing good defense. He was on pace for a 3-WAR season, but tore his quad. Has about 3 more weeks before he can come back. The most disappointing has been Pryor. Still has some BABIP issues, but he's on pace for 230 strikeouts, which is what he's been doing. His problem is on pace for 76 walks, which would be his season or his career high for the save. Like to see the pitching staff figure some stuff out. Denny Reyes has been our shining light right now. Pryor is 8-4, getting the run and support when he pitches. Problem Sosa, as good as he is hitting the ball, almost 300, 25 home runs, on pace for another 50 year. Defense has not been great. His speed is really hurting the BABIP outcomes for Pryor and Zambrano. Woodley, Denny's being a ground ball pitcher is not really factored into that. But we have the best run scoring offense, best OPS, best batter WAR. Our problem right now, we're not stealing bases, which, whatever. If you look at just all of our defense efficiency, defensive efficiency is 9th. Other than that, we are top 5 in basically everything. So by these numbers, we should be in the lead. Problem is, if you look at the Cardinals, they're looking the same, except for their bullpen's terrible. We just haven't had a chance to get some games, and we've dropped some bad ones recently to the White Sox. But we're running away with the wild card still. Not worried about getting to the playoffs at this point. Not really looking to make trades until the deadline. Kind of like how our roster is looking. The only negative hitting-wise, Ugla struggling since he's come up. He was at a negative 60 OPS plus at one point. He's starting to get a little better. Just looks like he's not quite ready to hit at major league level, which I understand. I rushed him up. He was doing well in AAA. I figured he could figure it out. He's not quite there yet. But as a bench guy, he's not the worst thing in the world. Soto's starting to figure things out. Beltrán, again, we talked about. But other than that, again, another jump ahead here, hitting the end of July. Next time I see you will be August 1st. But we'll make a stop at the trade deadline before then. But I will see you in a couple seconds for you and a couple minutes for me. And a quick jump in here on the 26th of July, right for the trade deadline. We were offered a trade for Chris Shaver, who's someone who doesn't have a lot of pitching potential in my eyes, and has not even been good in Double-A. Has physical tools, but probably never a major league arm. In real life, I don't think he's a major league arm. No, he never got past the Iowa Cubs. And they're offering Al Reyes, who, on an expiring contract, $600,000, but has been really good for Detroit this year. In 28 games, 84 innings, at 185 ERA plus. On pace for over 100 strikeouts. Reliever is good as a righty. And Tony Gwynn Jr., who, for all intents and purposes, is not hitting the ball well, is not a major league player. Probably ends up being a quadruple play, but has good defense, has good speed. Probably ends up being a AAA guy for me right now. And cash, which we're losing money in this case. Let's see if they'll retain some of Al Reyes. They will not. But in my opinion, that's a good deal, and I'm okay with that. Trading a guy that will never make the majors for one that will. Active roster is full, so if you look at my pitching staff, Sikorsky, just not good. Al Reyes takes that spot. Tony Gwynn, you can be on the 40-man, but you're a AAA player. And with that, again, I'll jump back out and jump back in right at the trade deadline, so I'll see you in a little bit. And we're back here at the trade deadline. Again, some guys looking to be on the block. Sammy Sosa is not on the trade block. Don't know why they have him there. I'm going to fix that. He's available, but he's not going to be on the trade block. But looking for guys to trade for. Adam Greenberg is somebody I'd like to flip at this point. We'll see if he's able to. Any big names that are looking to be sold right now? Larry Walker, Brian Roberts, I might come back to, who's having a down year, but has the batting ability. Larry Walker's a good hitting outfielder. Bagwell, Fuentes, Eckstein, Trevor Hoffman might be the guy we swing for. Oh, it's going to be Johan. Having a bad year, but we're going to trade for Johan Santana right now. Brent Gardner. We don't have enough money right now, so we need to add in a active player that's making some money. Yeah, I just don't think this is going to happen, unfortunately. Love to get Johan. Just looking at it, it's not realistic right now unless they offer something for us, which then I consider. But if we go back to trade deadline, Johan. I would love to have Johan. Other than that, looking at other names here, I think the bullpen's going to be the best option to address at this point. Yeah, Johan couldn't really swing for, but one name we can, Trevor Hoffman, elite bullpen guy on an expensive contract. I think the Dodgers want to get off that contract. We throw Brent Gardner in here. Unfortunately, need to get another $1 million out. Jake Fox, and if they retain some of this money, which is awesome, Brent Gardner for Trevor Hoffman. Older guy, but they save some money, and we get a much better bullpen. Trade deadline part 2, unfortunately not looking to move him. And we can't afford him anyways. All right, some other names that are interesting. I need a second baseman. So one thing I'm going to do, Adam Greenberg. He's starting to cool off. Probably should have traded him earlier. If we throw him, and what do we got for good potential prospects we can throw in here? And Jake Fox. Does this get us anything? No. Oh, Jake Fox and Tony Gwynn Jr. We're starting to get offers. Nelson Cruz, center fielder Nelson Cruz. It's funny. He's crushing AAA. He's my option I'm looking at right now. Granny Man. Moved to the majors. Not quite ready. I'd rather have an infielder, but I just don't see Jose Valverde. Right, yeah, so I think just for sake of time and nothing else really jumping out, these are two guys we're not going to use. One guy that might develop into something, in real life does, is Nelson Cruz. Ended up being here super cheap, is crushing the ball in AAA. Does have some major league bat skills. Not quite ready to be there yet, though. Or Curtis Granderson. Another guy not quite ready for the majors, but too good for the minors right now. Waino from the Twins. Yeah, let's see if we can get an infielder here. Let's go with a shortstop. I don't see any shortstops jump out at this point. Mike Aviles. Not having a great year. Aaron Miles is having a good year. Oh, no, he's not. Must have been, yeah, it's AAA stats, what I was looking at there. All right, nothing there, but if we take Jake Fox out, let's see if we can offer a major league contract. Who I want to get off of? Clint Barnes, honestly. See if we can get a Mike Morse, who's not a major league guy yet, but is a great defensive first baseman. So he's an option. Mike Aviles is still there. Benny Zoe. I'm going Ben Zobrist. I like the player. Byron Clint Bar. Oh, they'll just do this straight up. Yes, please. Ben Zobrist is a AAA guy right now, but he's going to be off major league contract. Hoffman is going to the majors. Does anyone that needs to be sent down? Alvarez. Made that trade to get some money off. Refuses to be demoted, so we'll just do this. I jump ahead a day here. And you want to give me anything for Alvarez? I will take anything. Steve Klein or Jamie Wright? How if I keep some of this money? Actually, less offers. I might need to tie a prospect to him. Hey, Jake Fox. You're still here. Nobody. Trevor Miller's an interesting reliever. Jamie Wright's been our best option for Milwaukee, so we'll do that. Jamie Wright. Sure. James Hoffman goes to the majors. Jamie Wright goes to the minors. Assuming he agrees to refuse to be demoted. In that case, see ya. Hoffman slides into the closer role. Percival's now a setup guy, which is the best, in my opinion, one of the best 1-2 punches in history. I want Johan. Looks like we're not going to be able to get Johan. All right, so those are the moves we made. Ben Zobrist comes in AAA for the Mets. Been very good. Has some good defensive versatility. Probably ends up being a majors eventually. Love Ben Zobrist. One of my favorite players of all time. Matt Diaz probably comes back up here pretty soon. J. Roll is hurt with a herniated back. Currently is starting at short. Probably ends up being on the... Probably should put him on the IL. We'll see. Hopefully he's not too badly banged up. Other than that, we're going to end the deadline day here. There's no more trades I really want to make. You can see Royals. Nope. Reds. Nope. And no. So, yeah, I didn't really miss any trades there I was interested in. Quick recap of how July went. Let's jump ahead here to August 1st. All right. Start of August. Couple things to note. Still fighting for first place for the Cardinals. Half game up now. I think no matter what happens, one of us is going to make the playoffs. The division leader. One of them is going to be the wild card team. I think both of us make it in at this point. Denny's still 11-0, perfect 1.59 ERA. Pryor starting to get better, getting that BABIP lower and lower. Strikeouts getting closer to 260, still sitting at 231. Zambrano having his worst year. Kerry Wood just keeps getting worse. Cliff Lee struggling still. But our signing, Trevor Hoffman's going to be so good for us. Percival's been good. Rao just struggled, but kind of what I expected out of him. 4's ERA the rest of the way through. Ubaldo's been good. Probably ends up being a starter next year. Kayward probably transitions to a reliever next year, the way things are going. Beltrán's been great. Aramis has been unbelievable. Sosa's still hitting home runs. Aubrey Huffman is back and playing well. Jimmy Rollins is playing well when he's healthy. Second base is still a question. Kenji's been a good rookie catcher. So, yeah, at this point, not a whole lot's changed. The only thing that's really we're struggling with right now is our bullpen ERA. But adding Hoffman should help that. John Rauch might get better. These other guys probably should get better. But other than that, we'll see you here at the end of August, start of September. And we're back, and just like that, we have won the division. Last couple of games against the Rockies kind of stapled it down, gave us a 100-win season, made us the best team in baseball by wins and win percentage. 2-game lead over the Cardinals there at the end of the year. Cardinals do make it as a wild card team, but just looking, we have the best offense in baseball at this point. And just an elite pitching staff as well. Number 1 in strikeouts. Denny Reyes did win the ERA crown this year. Let's see that up here. And he ended up being an all-star. 2.26 ERA led the league. 0.3 home runs per nine, just kept the ball in the ballpark. And as we can see on the Major League, is going to be our number 2 starter. Kerry Wood slides into bullpen role. Trevor Hoffman still running as our closer. Just kept getting better as the year went on for us. After the trade, Percival being a reliever. Don't love him as a long reliever, but whatever. Rouch started to get a little better towards the end of the year. Just had some bad BABIP luck. Being extreme fly ball is disappointing. Pryor led the league in wins with 18. Had his BABIP finally get better and just had an elite season once that happened. Didn't actually lead the league in strikeouts this year, only threw 241. Your league leader had, we'll get back to this in just a second. Pitching leaders. Oh, you guys have better eyes than I do, probably. Strikeouts right here. Josh Beckett got him by 2 strikeouts. So again, Pryor, another elite year. Pedro being on the Dodgers. Pryor being second in wins, actually. I said win crown. That's my mistake. Oh, National League win crown because Holiday's in the American League. Batting leaders, again, Sosa hit 52, led the National League. 136 RBIs. Bonds did get hit 3,000 in his career. Derek Lee's up there in at bats. Beltrán's up there in WAR number 2, or tied for first with Andrew Jones. Bonds with the best OPS. That doesn't surprise anybody. Ichiro with hits. Beltrán with runs. Kadire with doubles. But that's kind of expected based on how people make their lineups. Downside, Ubaldo did get hurt, done for the year. 7-month recovery on shoulder inflammation. Hopefully that doesn't derail anything right now. Control's starting to develop a little better. Coming off an average year. Bats and BABIP, but pitching-wise, we looked at all those numbers. Lineup-wise, looked at that as well. Beltrán being great for us. Johima, probably not going to be a Rookie of the Year, but a good year for us and exactly what we needed as a catcher. And ironically, we get St. Louis round 1. So we'll switch our view here, playoff coverage. Focusing just on our game here. First game, Dan Herron versus Mark Pryor. Cubs win 5-1. Pryor gets the win. Huff hits a home run. Game 2 tomorrow in Chicago. Denny Reyes versus Doug Davis. This is where Denny's makes me nervous. Does get the loss 7-3. Gives up 3 home runs. Who actually had the best home run percentage in the regular season. Struggled in the postseason, of course. Zambrano versus Jason Johnson. Get the win 7-6. Hoffman gets the win. Game 4 could be over here if Cliff Lee can get us the win. Lose 5-1, so it is going to go Game 5. 100-win season. Is it going to be wasted? And it is. We lose 5-1. Mark Pryor gets the loss. Dan Herron gets the win. Series MVP, of course, Albert Pujols. And just like that, another season ends in disappointment. As the Cubs had the best record in baseball, only to lose first round to the Cardinals. Just the story of the Cubs' life. But with that, we'll simulate through here the rest of the playoffs. Kind of see Diamondbacks looking to sweep the Cardinals at this point, up 2-0. Just coming off a sweep of the Braves. Only series that didn't go 5. And just another disappointing season in this series. Chicago does everything he asked for. It has a 100-win season, becomes one of the best teams in baseball. Only to choke in the playoffs. Denny Reyes, who's so good all year, gives up 3 home runs, which is just something that you don't expect to see out of him. Having the league best .8 home runs per 9, give up less than 1 a game. And then comes in and gives up 3 in the important playoff game. But just how the season's kind of gone so far. Looking at the draft pool as we look ahead, unfortunately, this is the Freddie Freeman year. Lucroy, Donaldson, Stanton, Altuve, Rizzo, Scherzer. Looking at the draft pool. On our mock draft, you can see we're sitting 25th. Looking at Trevor Cahill. Probably end up getting Daisuke. He comes in and plays right away. Because we're on a win now team. We'll go all players here by potential. And we'll shortlist some guys here that we recognize. Donaldson is a catcher. Actually ends up being a Cubs draft pick. Danny Duffy, Freddie Freeman. Salvi Perez, Max Scherzer, Giancarlo, Hayward, Kluber, Marte, Rizzo, Altuve. Now the question is, does Altuve actually become Jose Altuve that we know based on this development engine being somebody who's not a good OPS profile in the game? Other names that jump out to me that I really care about. Steve Cishek, such a weird pitcher. Jake Diekman, Lucroy. Tony Watson was a good lefty. Peter Burgess. Mike Moustakas. Timmy Anderson. Starlin Castro. Java. I think that I'm going to call that. Good enough. Ben Rivy I could look at. See him vote. Darren Barney. Yeah, I think I'm going to call that right there good enough. Because we're looking in the 40s now at this point. Probably should spend another year in development in the game. Clayton Morton actually becomes a really good pitching coach for the Cubs. Somebody I really like to use in minor or major or current day sims. At this, we're going to shortlist these guys. Already had KO shortlisted. And we're going to add them to the Combine watch list. Again, TC being here would be cool. Went to Cal. Of course, my goal would be one of these batters. Everyone can see these batters. Donaldson. Stanton, Lucroy. But if you look guys that come in the second round here who I'd probably rather pick, I'd want Daisuke, assuming he develops well. I don't love extreme fly ball, though. That's a downside. And that looking at second round here, who I'd actually be interested in. Henderson Alvarez would be fun at 80 potential. Hector Rondon. Knuckleballer Stephen Wright. Moose. Probably actually be a better pick than Cahill at this point, but who knows? Greg Hollins here. Darwin. So if we look at our draft pool, I'm going to request scouting reports on all these guys too. And I just, where it sits right now, I'm just got a bad taste in my mouth based after how the season ended. If we look at the front office, I'm sorry, like coaching staff wise, I assigned Dusty Baker to extension because he is very good. Led him to 100 wins. Gonna keep him here. He has a little more control than I'd like to have him have, but I'd like to see some of these guys figure some stuff out. If we look at our salaries, who's coming off the books next year? Zito, we lose his retention, is going to save us some money. Todd Walker, his retention's gone. Molina's gone. Rincon, we lose his retention. Percival probably ends up getting another contract out of us. Hoffman, I'm going to re-sign. He was too good not to, and I'll give him some money. Names that probably get traded. Sosa had a player option. At this point, I think I let Sosa walk. He had another great year, but just hurts us defensively. And we'll kind of wrap up the playoffs here. Jump ahead here. Cardinals making a comeback. And Diamondbacks win Game 7. We get Diamondbacks, Blue Jays. Do Diamondbacks, can they take it? And they end up being a sweep. Diamondbacks win the World Series. And that's just a bunch of our scouting reports. Joe Nathan does re-sign in St. Louis. And now we hit the start of the offseason. Again, just a disappointing year again for the Cubs. That curse the ability to go crush us again in the first round of the playoffs. Something we need to get figured out for the Cubs. Playing win now. Coming off the best offense in the league. Got to figure out the pitching. Having some tough calls to make this summer, though. Sosa's going to test free agency, which is fine. I think I'm going to let him walk. We get a little more money. We're losing our pitching coach, hitting coach, trainer, and third base coach. I'm going to try to hire some guys. I don't know who's going to let it. Some minor league personnel leaving. That's just nothing. Dev facilities. GM got fired. All right, arbitration. So first of all, Sammy Sosa, I'm going to offer arbitration. I doubt he accepts it. Percival, same thing. Volts can walk. Hoffman, I'm going to offer a contract to. Minor league guys. I don't see any names I have to re-sign at this point. So let's look at their arbitration. Anyone I'm going to take it away from. Ari Dickies gets it. And Keel. I wish. I love his defense. I love the real life Rick Ankiel. He didn't do well in AA last year. Pitching wise, batting wise, he's not anything special. Bat's not there. I let him walk, I think, and then give him a minor league contract if he wants to come back. Grant Balfour was fine with us. Frazier was fine with us. Dickey was really good with us. Somehow Zambrano was okay. Pryor and Lee both come back. Yeah, I'm okay with that. If we look at the upcoming free agents, Barry Bonds is the free agent. Names to focus on. Barry Bonds. He is 42. He is not a defensive player at all anymore. He almost had 200 OPS plus. Jim Edmonds could steal him from St. Louis. We'll see who's offering him money. Mo, the best closer in history, in my opinion. Put him in the bullpen with Hoffman. That's the best 1-2 punch in history. Speaking of Hoffman, can bring Manning in at 34. Ortiz is the free agent. Clemens, Oswalt, Johan at 27. I think Johan's got to go after. I don't know how much he wants. Milton Bradley, Gary Sheffield, Billy Wagner. I said there's a bunch of big names here. This is a good free agent class, and we're going to be buyers. Somehow Moises Alou is still in the league. I don't know. Griffey Jr. would be cool to bring in, again, DH. Olerud, Glendon Rush. So names here that, yeah, we'll look at. Sosa, I think I'm going to let walk, especially if he doesn't accept that. But plenty of names to buy into. Only problem, starter-wise, is Clemens, Oswalt, Santana as the big fish. Other than that, we have older guys that are past their prime or never going to have a prime. But at that point, we know kind of what we're going to look at. If you look at our contract, what we have 31 for extensions, 11 million for free agents. I can free some money up pretty simply with that. We have the number one player payroll, fourth highest budget. We can clear some money pretty quickly. If we look at our roster, front office, Sosa's money's off the books. Aubrey Huff, who's been very good for us. Derek Lee, who has not been very good for us. Probably this might be the offseason I look to trade Derek Lee. He's making too much money for what he's providing. Same thing Kerry Wood. Might look to trade Kerry Wood with making that much money. Other than that, we're going to stop here. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment what you want to see, recommendations you have. Again, I'm not going to say I'm an expert of this game. Those that are good at it, please comment what you recommend me doing to help get past that first round. Other than that, subscribe if you haven't. This has been the Game of Math Teacher. I'll see you next time.